Good morning, everyone. Welcome to all force learning classes, session 15. Session 15 includes the topic we are going to discuss is the nutritional requirements of humans and gross calorific value, physiologic value. So in this connection, first of all, we'll discuss the nutritional requirements of human beings. The balanced diet is that which provide us sufficient amount of the energy by combustion of the food that we take. So in this case, the nutritional requirements we see is proteins, carbohydrates, fats, vitamins, minerals, water, roughage is also included. So proteins, carbohydrates, fats. Proteins are building materials of the body. However, proteins, carbohydrates, fats are the energy sources. In this, the proteins what provide the building material. For suppose, if you take the primary proteins and secondary proteins. Primary proteins means the protein present in the animal tissue. Whereas the secondary proteins that present in the cereals, that is the products of the plants, vegetables. So, the protein is a integral part of our body. That is, muscle is with the protein, actin and myosin. And so whatever the protein you take is what builds your body. Unlike the carbohydrates and the fats. However, these three are the energy sources. But proteins are building materials of the body, which builds our body. Carbohydrates are the chief energy sources. Fats are energy reserves, energy that is the reserve source of energy, the excess of fat which is stored in the body as a natural fat. And the vitamins, minerals and water are said to be the metabolic requirements. These are what are responsible for metabolism. Metabolism is done by means of the vitamins, minerals and water. Roughage is said to be, roughage in the sense the fiber of plant material, the fiber of the undigested, unabsorbed fiber of the plant material, what we say is a roughage. This is the nutritional requirements for our body. In this connection, the proteins, carbohydrates, fats, vitamins, minerals, fats, roughage. The case with vitamins are, already we have discussed what are proteins, carbohydrates and fats and how they are being digested. The proteins are building materials of the body, carbohydrates are chief energy sources, fats, these are all what are said to be the macromolecules which needs to convert into micromolecules, that is nothing but the digestion. Vitamins, minerals, water are said to be responsible for metabolic. So, metabolism requirements is by vitamins, minerals and water. Vitamins are of the fat soluble as well as fat soluble and water soluble. Fat soluble and water soluble. ADEK is said to be the fat soluble, whereas the BC is said to be the water soluble. A vitamin, D vitamin, E vitamin, K vitamin are fat soluble, whereas BC are water soluble. A vitamin is said to be retinol. The chemical name of A vitamin is retinol. Generally, this A vitamin is available in the milk, egg, cheese, curd, cheese, and the butter, whereas it is also present in the plants in the form of beta carotene. Generally, the plant carrot, the vegetables we take a carrot first, for suppose, where the A vitamin is in the form of the beta carotene. A vitamin is present in the form of beta carotene. This beta carotene in the liver synthesized into A vitamin. That's the reason why we discussed some of the vitamins are synthesized in the liver. Until and if we take the food source, the precursor of A vitamin in the form of beta carotene is converted into A vitamin in the liver. Next, D vitamin called C-ferrol. It is also said to be the sunshine vitamin. That is, if we expose our skin to the sun, 7-dehydrocholesterol is what present in our skin. Mammalian skin is with 7-dehydrocholesterol. On exposure to sunlight, this is converted into D vitamin. That's what it is, a sunshine vitamin. Next, E vitamin. Next, K vitamin. E vitamin is a tocopherol. Basically, E vitamin in other members, other animals, it is said to be the anti-sterotic, but it is nothing to do with the fertility or sterility in human beings. And K vitamin is a blood clotting vitamin, which is chemically named naphthoquinone, and it is a what is called blood clotting. Vitamin K is synthesized in our large intestine by the intestinal microorganism, bacteria. B and C vitamin. B vitamin is a complex of the vitamin. B1, thiamine, riboflavin, pyridoxine, pantothenic acid, niacin, nicotinic acid, biotin are all what the B complex vitamins. B vitamins are also synthesized in our intestinal region by intestinal bacteria. This is the reason why we don't have some of the vitamins deficiency. Pyridoxine, B6, which are what synthesized in our body itself. C vitamin, ascorbic acid, the vitamin responsible for immunity, the vitamin responsible for repair, cure, is what the C vitamin. These are what the nutritional requirements in our body in terms of the vitamins. Next, the minerals and water are also what are responsible for metabolism. Metabolism in the sense which convert the stored food and provide the energy. Metabolism, the activity of the body, is what done by means of vitamins, minerals and water. Next, roughage. Roughage is nothing but the undigested and unabsorbed plant material is what named to be the roughage. So these are all what are the nutritional requirements of human beings. Let's come to discuss the gross calorific value and the physiological value or physiologic value. Here, generally what we see is the carbohydrates, proteins, fats, which are what energy sources. In this connection, since the heat is considered to be the prominent for the heat production. That is, heat is considered to be the having a prominent role. Heat is nothing but a common term we use for the energy. The food substances of the proteins, carbohydrates and fats are what said to be. Once they are combusted, they release the energy. So the energy is what we see extracted from the substance that we eat. So every food has its measure of the heat production. The measure of heat production is what a term we use for energy, which means every food product has its the heat production in terms of the energy. That is what we calculate. Such measure of the heat that is produced by food products have certain value. This value is what we say is a gross calorific value, physiologic value. What I mean to say is, the food products that we take are carbohydrates, fat, proteins. They are the energy sources. For every gram of the food that we take, after combustion, liberates the heat, which is what name it to be the energy value of the respective food. So, the gross calorific value and the physiologic value, if we see, physiologic value means the amount of the energy produced, the amount of the energy that is produced by combustion of the food of 1 gram is in our body name it to be the physiologic value. The amount of heat produced, or which is in terms of the energy, the amount of the heat generated for the combustion of 1 gram of the proteins, carbohydrates and fat in our bodies name it to be the physiologic value. Whereas gross calorific value in the sense the amount of heat that is the energy produced for combustion of 1 gram of the protein, carbohydrates, fats by using bomb calorimeter in lab, which means this is in the physiological conditions of human body, whereas it is in the lab gross calorific value. Got my point what I am saying? What I am saying is, in our body, the 1 gram of a food that we take, on combustion, how much amount of the energy liberated is what the physiologic value, whereas the amount of heat that is generated on combustion of 1 gram of a protein, carbohydrate, fat by using bomb calorimeter in a laboratory is what name it to be the gross calorific value. So, this is in our body, this is in the usage of in the lab by using the bomb calorimeter. Bomb calorimeter is a metallic chamber which is filled with the oxygen. I repeat, bomb calorimeter is a bomb calorimeter is nothing but a metallic chamber that is filled with the oxygen is said to be the bomb calorimeter. So, the amount of the heat that is produced on combustion of the carbohydrates, proteins, fat in our body is a physiologic value. The amount of the heat that is generated on combustion of carbohydrates, proteins, fat of 1 gram by using bomb calorimeter in the lab is what name it to be the gross calorific value. The physiologic value is less when compared with the gross calorific value. Gross calorific value is more than that of the physiologic value. It is more. That is for every 1 gram of carbohydrates, 1 gram of fat and protein, it is less. It is in body, whereas this is in the lab by using a bomb calorimeter. Bomb calorimeter. This is what we see the difference between the gross calorific value and the physiologic value. The physiologic value of, let's see the chart. Protein, carbohydrates and the fat. Protein, gross calorific value is 5.65 kilocalories, whereas the physiological value of the protein is 4 kilocalories. And carbohydrate gross calorific value is 4.1. Physiologic value is 4 kilocalories. Next, the fat gross calorific value 9.45, whereas here it is 9. Do you clear with what I am saying? The gross calorific value is more. Protein gross calorific value is 5.65. Unlike the protein physiologic value is 4 kilocalories. Is it more or not? Yes. The carbohydrate gross calorific value is 4.1 kilocalories. Basically, the heat that is produced by combustion is measured in joules or calories. That's what kilocalories. Right? So, carbohydrate gross calorific value is 4.1 kilocalories, whereas the physiologic value is 4 kilocalories. And fat gross calorific value is 9.45, whereas the physiologic value is 9. This indicates the production of the amount of the heat generated on combustion of 1 gram of a food in the body is a physiological value. The amount of the heat produced on combustion of 1 gram of carbohydrates, protein, fat by using bomb calorimeter in lab is a gross calorific value. Bomb calorimeter is a metallic chamber that is filled with the oxygen. Gross calorific value is more than the physiologic value. Physiologic value is less. The gross calorific value of proteins is 5.65 kilocalories. The physiologic value is 4 kilocalories. Carbohydrate gross calorific value 4.1 kilocalories, whereas physiologic value is 4 kilocalories. Fat gross calorific value 9.45, whereas physiologic value 9 kilocalories. The questions can be expected in this. For suppose if I say the physiologic value of 1 gram of the fat is more than that of the 1 gram of a protein and the carbohydrate. Is it right or not? Right. Why? The combined together 1 gram of a protein is liberating 4 kilocalories. 1 gram of the carbohydrate producing 4 kilocalories. 4 plus 4, 8 combined 1 gram of carbohydrates and proteins. Unlike the fat is 9 kilocalories. That's what fat, when we take, we get the more the energy source. This is what the gross calorific value and the physiologic value. Next, we move on to the nutritional disorders. Previously we have discussed the gross calorific value and the physiological value, and it is the nutritional disorders. What do you mean by a nutrition? Nutrients. Nutrients are those that give the energy to our body in the form of the food, that is carbohydrates, proteins, fats, vitamins, minerals. These are all nutritional requirements to our body. It includes the water, which is all what name it to be the balanced diet. If the less intake of such nutrients or excessive taken or deficiency, what results in a nutritional disorder. This is what's said to be the malnutrition. What we consider here, this is a malnutrition. That is, either the deficiency of the nutrients, or excessive taking, or else a lower taking. That is, under taking of the food, over or excessive taking, or deficiency, or all what are discussed under the nutritional disorders. In this connection, first of all, we'll discuss the PEM, protein energy malnutrition. Protein energy malnutrition. Just now I told you, malnutrition in the sense either it is the excessively taking, or else less or under or normal, less than the normal, or else deficiency. This protein efficiency malnutrition, first of all, the proteins are building materials of the body, that is the muscles, limbs, are what the grown brain, physical and mental growth, for which the protein is what very, very important. Protein, particularly this protein, is also one of the hormonal composition. Growth hormone is what's it to be with the protein. Chemically, hormones we discuss as the proteins, peptide, steroid, amine. So in this connection, in our body, the hormones releasing is also whatever the protein you take, which become integral part of the growth hormone that stimulates the growth of the body. So this is the relationship between our growth of the body and the protein we take. Protein deficiency or excessive take, this all what comes under the malnutrition. Now we'll discuss the protein energy malnutrition. Particularly, the major problem in India with the infants and children suffering from is a protein deficiency disorder. The major problem now we are facing. It may even lead to the mortality and morbidity. If the children are given with the protein content sufficiently, definitely they are recovered. This protein energy malnutrition, under which we do discuss the two deficiency disorders. One is named to be the kwashiorkor, and the another is the marasmus. I repeat, kwashiorkor and marasmus are protein malnutrition disorders. Kwashiorkor is a deficiency of the protein, but normal intake of the calorie. Generally, PEM, protein energy malnutrition, is due to the deficiency of protein or deficiency of calorie, or else both, or else only by protein. That's what now we'll discuss, why this categorization. Protein deficiency but normal intake, protein deficiency but normal intake, normal calorie value, normal intake of calories. The children of the 1 to 5 years of age, aged children are more suffer from kwashiorkor. Normal intake of calorie but protein deficiency results in kwashiorkor. This happens with 1 to 5 years of the children. Whereas marasmus is the nutritional disorder of the deficiency of proteins, as well as deficiency of proteins and calories. What we say, it is a marasmus. It is happens with the children of 1 year old, 1 year of age. The symptoms we see in kwashiorkor marasmus is weak limbs, thin muscles, underdeveloped limbs, spotted belly, dry and scaly skin, and physical and mental retardation is also takes place. Amino acids are very much important for the growth of the brain. So that is the result of physical and mental retardation. This is what happened, which has become a major problem in particularly the poor children, which are not with the sufficient of the nutrients. If they are provided with the sufficient of proteins, they can recover. That's what the nutritional disorders under which the PEM. The second one we move on to is anemia. Next, the nyctalopia and the goiter. These are nutrients I am referring. So anemia in the sense the deficiency of iron content in our food is nutrients is very important. Why? Iron is the main element in RBCs. The more amount of the RBC with the iron, the more oxygen is supplied to each and every cell of our body. This is the main reason, according to WHO, World Health Organization, 70% of the children are now facing the anemic itself. Deficiency of iron. What lead to anemia? Next, the nyctalopia and xerophthalmia. Nyctalopia in the sense the deficiency of A vitamin results in a nyctalopia, night blindness. Generally, the A vitamin is a retinol which synthesizes a substance, name it to be the rhodopsin. Generally, in our eyes, there are two types of the cells, cone cells and rod cells. Rod cell synthesizes the rhodopsin, which is for dim light vision. Means under low light conditions, we are able to see things. That is, when it is dark, you can see things, certain at least the shadow you can see. What do you mean by that? Rhodopsin are for a dim light vision. It is because of the rhodopsin as pigment synthesized by A vitamin. So A vitamin deficiency results in no dim light vision. In a 24 hours of a time, 12 hours is the day, 12 hours is night, which means night is a dim light, where the nyctalopia or night blindness individual cannot visualize the things. Why? Deficiency of A vitamin. Next, goiter. Goiter is the deficiency of iodine. Iodine is the important mineral in our body, which is responsible for basal metabolic activities. Generally, the thyroxine, which have triiodo and tetraiodo molecules of the iodine, and the deficiency of iodine, a mineral. We are not going for the deficiency of hormone. I am referring iodine deficiency results in a goiter. So these are 1 proteins, 2 the iron, 3 the A vitamin, which is available in various kinds of the vegetables, and iodine. This is nutritional disorder. Let's come to discuss these are the nutritional disorders. However, there are various kinds of the vitamin deficiency we see. Deficiency of D vitamin rickets, and deficiency of the C vitamins, scurvy, deficiency of niacin or nicotinic acid, pellagra. Likewise, they are also comes under the deficiency disorders. Now let's move on to the digestive system disorders. Generally, the digestive system prone for the disorders. This disorders is due to the untimely, that is taking the food at an irregular interval, not a regular interval food consumption. Why? At a regular interval, the enzymes are secreted. So, irregularity in food consumption, excessive eating, spicy food eating, or anxiety, and deficiency of gastrointestinal tract enzymes, hormones, all together collectively summarized as digestive system disorders. Not only this, there is a condition of the pathogenic parasitic infections. There are the parasites such as particularly the helminthic disorders. Helminthic disorders, that is, we see as a tapeworm, Tinea solium. Next, the common roundworm, Oscaris. Next, hookworm. Next, the pinworm. Hookworm is the ankylostoma duodenal, whereas pinworm is enterobius. These are all what the parasites. All of them are living in the intestine.